Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a news/update video for Fallout 76, so let's crack on with it. So we're going to be jumping on Reddit today, and we have an article here which is inside the vault. There's actually two articles we're going to be looking at, one tomorrow, one today. A little information about the one tomorrow is going to be a lot about the weapons, nerfs and buffs, and there will be a little bit of a rant in there because there's some changes which make no sense whatsoever. None. There's just I don't even understand. It's like, we need to make a change, let's just make a change kind of vibe. But we're gonna hold that in for tomorrow. It's going to be a longer format, but today we're going to be checking out perk cards, specifically more around heavy weapons and the changes that they're doing. So let's crack into it. So the first little piece here is perk adjustments, and this is we've got crack shot cone of fire reduction, which used to be 15, 30, 45, is now going to be 10, 20, 30. So a little bit of a nerf, but the reason they're doing this is because overall, I think the idea is they're going to make base weapons cone of fire smaller. So just keep that in mind. It's not they're making things cone, bloom, bigger. I think they're just rebalancing this perk card due to the overall changes they're making to base weapons. Next we have ground pounder cone of fire reduction from 15, 30, 45 to 10, 20, 30, same as before. Modern renegade cone of fire reduction 15, 30, 45 to 10, 20, 30, and same with stabilized cone of fire reduction 15, 30, 45 down to 10, 20, 30. Stabilizes 4-star legendary mod. The cone of fire reduction has been reduced from 50% to 35%, and scope stability increase from minus 50% to 20%. And I wonder, when they say scope stability increase, is that the the sway? No, bug fix. So this was I guess a bug. I don't know, or there is a bug and they just didn't state it here. But yeah, so there's definitely some stuff here. It will make more sense tomorrow when we go through the bigger patch, but today I just wanted to focus specifically on the perk cards. So this is the second article of 2, and this is much shorter, and tomorrow we're going to have that longer format video. So with this, it says, in this update we are finishing up our rebalancing of weapons perks, which include the heavy, melee, thrown and bow weapons. Heavy gunner perks are being replaced with perks that focus on spending ammo to gain bonuses, along with the highly requested perk to decrease the spin-up time on weapons. Melee perks are moving away from the one-hand and two-hand designations, and instead these perks will lean into more general properties of melee weapons such as bleed and power attacks. Bow perks will be benefiting thrown melee, as well as the bow weapons with new ways to take down groups of enemies. So with this, it's going to be, I believe, bows or arrows from your bows will be able to bounce from target to target, which is going to be an interesting one. We're also standardizing perks and mods, as English is difficult, that grant the ability to automatically revive. Perks with these effects now bypass going into the downed state, having a 100% chance to occur, have a cooldown, and require the use of healing items such as a stim pack. So I believe when you hit critical HP, so you're going to go down, instead of going down, you're going to consume a stim pack and heal automatically. And I wonder if this is a nerf to certain perks that give you benefits for being revived. So I think this is a nerf, but also somewhat useful at the same time. But I think this is generally a nerf to certain things, but we will have to test that out and see. If you do know and you've tested this out for yourself, or you just know, please let me know in the comments down below. In addition, all effects that apply buffs to other players you revive will apply to yourself when self-reviving. The order in which these effects can occur is fixed. Scout banner. So when you use a single scout banner, you do revive, so you'll go down and then pop back up, which is kind of awkward sometimes, but also really nice. So scout banners do have a utility to them. We've got the EMT perk, life saving mod, and power armor reboot perk. Perk card changes. So Slugger, this is melee, rank 1 plus 10%, and then max rank 3 up to plus 30%. I think I'm just going to read the max rank of a lot of these just to keep things short and sweet. Slugger Expert, new name is now going to be Kneecapper. It's going to cost you 2 perk points and rank 1, and there is only one rank, and that is blunt melee weapons deal 100% limb damage. Slugger Master, the new name will now be Heavy Hitter. This will cost you 3 perk points, and it at rank 1, and there is only one rank. Blunt melee weapons deal plus 50% power attack damage. Gladiator is now going to be named Wound Salter. Max rank of this will give you a plus 30% damage against bleeding enemies. Gladiator Expert is now being called Meat Mincer. This is going to cost you 2 points, has 1 rank, and bladed melee weapons gain a plus 20% swing speed. You got Gladiator Master is now going to be called Bloodluster. It's going to cost you 3 perk points, and rank 1, your bleed effects have 35% more damage and 25% less duration. So actually this is going to give you more DPS overall, which is quite nice. Iron Fist, rank 1. Your fist weapons deal more damage based on your DR. Heavy Gunner, new name, Drum Corpse. Rank 1, gain 1 stack of Bullet Storm for every 50 ammo spent, up to 10 stacks. Each stack increases damage by 3%, resets when you reload or change weapons. So this will give you a 30% increase in damage at rank 1. At max rank, you're going to get a 90% increase to damage at full stack of Bullet Storm. So maybe quad might actually be something very interesting on some of those big magazine or big is magazine drums, I don't know what to call them, weapons. Note, on Bulletstorm, the perk Drum Corpse grants the ability to gain a stacking buff based on ammo spent. This buff increases the damage you deal, and other perks can add additional effects. You can have up to 10 stacks of Bulletstorm, and they last until you change weapons or reload, so very important that. Next we have Heavy Gunner Expert, new name, Tightly Wound. Point cost will cost you 2. Rank 1, weapons spin up faster. I would love a percent to that, but that's what we have. Heavy Gunner Master, new name, Bringing the Big Guns. This will cost you 3 points. At rank 1, your Bulletstorm stack limit is doubled. So that means you can get 180% more damage at full stack, which is kind of insane if you think about it. That's kind of nuts. Lock and Load, point cost 2. Rank 1, you keep half of your Bulletstorm stacks when you reload. Each stack increases reload speed by 1%. Interesting. So you can get a 20% increase to your reload speed, and then if you have Bringing the Big Guns, you're going to consume 10 stacks, and you'll retain 10% of your stacks. So you can retain 90% of your damage right away, blast away, and quickly, with half the time, get back to that 180% more damage, which is pretty nuts if you think about it. Next we have Bare Arms at rank 1. Each stack of Bulletstorm increases your bash damage by 5%. Are we going to see the the Shredder, I think it's called, on the minigun? Are we going to see that coming back? Because that used to be it used to be so fun. You just needed bashing damage and you were locked in low, but then they kind of changed it a little bit, tweaked it, toned it down, and added some melee weapons to sort of do that, but we'll see. We got Pain Train, improved hit detection and limited hit rate. Counts as a fist weapon, increased base damage and damage per rank, uses 5 AP per hit. Bow Before Me, interesting name. Rank 1, 20% armor pen and 5% stagger with bows or thrown melees, up to the max rank of 2, 40% armor pen and 10% stagger with bows or thrown melee. Archer, new name, Hat Trick. At max rank, arrows and thrown melee weapons bounce towards 3 additional targets, dealing 80% of the damage, which is actually going to be really interesting. We also have a dev note to this. The damage is reduced by 80% each bounce. Bounce range is based on the weapon's range. So you are going to get a decent bounce, or AoE I should say, but it is going to be reduced damage. But if you can, I don't know, I'm definitely going to set up a bow and we're going to give that a bloody good go. Next we have Archer Expert. New name is Deal Sealer. It's going to cost you 2 points at rank 1. Deal a 10% damage for each impairment your target has. Dev note: impairments are crippled, bleeding, burning, or poisoned. This info is shown in the Pip-Boy effects tab. Next we have Archer Master, and this hasn't actually got a rename, and this is going to cost you 3 points at rank 1. Arrows and thrown melee weapons pierce targets. That's going to be an interesting one as well. Fire in the hole. New name, Strong Arm. Rank 1. Thrown weapons fly 50% further. So they're trying to bring in thrown weapons because no one ever uses them. Dev note: the thrown arc effect has been moved to the settings menu. Interesting. I've never used the thrown weapon, so maybe we try that out. I don't know. Homebody. Rank 1. Improved benefits of being well rested. Dev notes: well rested grants you +2 agility. Kindred spirit grants +2 perception. Lover's embrace grants you +2 charisma. So you get improved benefits from that, extra stats if you really want them. EMT. Point cost 2. Rank 1. Automatically revive a downed teammate once every 3 minutes and grants them increased healing for a minute. Dev note: both players need to be in the same area or interior and within a reasonable distance. I wish we had a little bit more information on that, but that's all we have. Next we've got Injector. Rank 1. Players you revive have 18 AP regen for 1 minute. Revenant. Rank 1. Players you revive have a 25% damage for 2 minutes. Healing Hand. Rank 1. Players you revive are fully healed. So maybe you can go like a support build now. And very interesting. We'll see if a support build is actually something useful in the game. Very interesting that they're actually changing some of these. Rad Sponge. At max rank of 3, absorb 30% of rads taken and restore hunger and thirst. Next perk is Ninja at rank 2, which is the max, plus 100% sneak attack damage with melee and bows. This is going to be very handy for your bow weapons. Dev note: extending this perk to bows and thrown weapons, which is lovely. I'm so happy bows are actually getting a rebalance in a buff format. Next we have Psychopath at max rank of 3. Hits outside of VATS refill your critical meter at 15% contribution, which is quite nice actually. Next we've got Grim Reaper's Sprint. It's going to cost you 2 points at rank 1, which is the max. Gain plus 10% action point regeneration per kill while on a kill streak at a maximum of 10 stacks. So you can get 100% action point regen per kill, which is pretty... We're going to have to test that one out. That could be insane. Next, we have Bloody Mess, which I love using. At max rank of 3, bleeding enemies you kill have a chance to explode for more damage based on your luck. Dev note: added damage to the gore explosion that scales with each rank and player level. This explosion does not damage you. Increased chance to proc with chance increasing with luck. Bloody Mess has a small chance to proc without the perk based on luck. So I wonder if this retains its old thing, or is this just rechanged to this? Because before you used to just get a flat damage boost of like 15% or something like that, if I remember correct. I don't fully remember. I need to check it out. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to check this one out because this is one of the cards I do actually like using. Next, we have Power Armor Reboot at max rank of 4, automatically reviving using a stim pack while in Power Armor. And then this goes from this is a cooldown of 2 minutes. Dev note: the random chance was removed and a cooldown added. So you get that 2-minute cooldown, which is quite interesting. Next, we have Hack and Slash at max rank of 4. Melee attacks deal 60% of their damage in a small area. So you can get a little bit of AoE to your melee attacks. Very, very interesting. Now we're going to go into some legendary mod changes, nerfs, buffs. We'll see what they say here. Life saving, chance to auto revive increased from 50% to 100% and added a 5-minute cooldown that is reduced by 1 minute per additional piece. So wait, reduced by 1 minute per additional. So okay, interesting. So if you get max life saving, you can just interesting. You see what I'm saying here? This is going to be an interesting one. Another thing I want to sort of throw out there is if you have stacking revive perks, right? And you revive, does that mean everything goes on cooldown, or does it consume one of those revive perks? You go down and that goes on, say, like a 2-minute cooldown if you do the one for Power Hammer Reboot, and then say you have life saving that kicks in a second time, or does it all just go into effect all at once, which is what I'm going to lean more towards. This is a Bethesda game after all. That it's going to be that when you revive, everything goes on cooldown. That's my... there's something I want to... We should work out, but that's what I think is going to happen. And then on top of that, if you have multiple players in your party that can automatically revive you, say if I go down, does it count as all 3 people around me reviving me and then everybody goes on cooldown? Or does one person revive me and then I could get revived by a second person? That's another thing that I would love to know and we can test out. Some things that definitely need to be ironed out in my opinion, and just some things running through my mind as we're reading through this. Next we have Lucky, renamed to Lucky Hit. Okay. We've got Rejuvenators, now adds HP and AP regeneration to the Hunger and Thirst abilities. At full rejuvenation, perk rank 2 provides 6 HP and AP regeneration, which is actually not too terrible. Full provides 3 HP and AP regeneration. Well provides 2, normal provides 1, and partial also provides 1. Next we have Choo Choo. This effect has been overhauled to use the Pain Train perk. Each item equipped with this mod grants +1 rank to Pain Train. This can go beyond the max rank of 3 and works even if you do not have the perk equipped. It also adds an on-hit bleeding effect to Pain Train that scales with more Choo Choo mods equipped. Very interesting. I don't know if this is a buff or not. I'm going to say this is a buff. But I haven't used that, so we'll see. I might have a Choo Choo somewhere. We're gonna have to dig it out when we do all our testing in a video. Workbench, weapons workbench. Categories have been renamed for better sorting. Removed bows from the machine guns category and grouped with thrown weapons under a new category named Ranged Survival. Melee has 2 new categories, Fist and Power Tools. Rename the melee categories for edged weapons to sharp weapons and remove the Ultra Sight category. Why did they remove the Ultra Sight category? We're going to have to check that out tomorrow. We might get some more news on that. But I have been seeing people say Ultra Sight stuff is just pointless now, which if they're removing Ultra Sight, please just refund people their resources or something. That's a lot of resources that people have cooped up in that. Consumables, steeped ash rose tea, duration increased to 1 hour. Gameplay, floating damage numbers now have a random offset, which is hopefully going to be easier on the eyes maybe. And then damage over time effects now display floating damage numbers. This is going to be really, really, really cool, because before you just kind of just be like, oh yeah, I have poison on there, or I have bleed on there, and you can just tell by the HP bar just ticking down, but you don't know really, you know what I mean? So this is going to be really, really nice to have just some quality of life stuff here. Here we got weapons. Unarmed tag renamed to Fist. Fist weapons now include either the blunt or sharp tags. Automatic melee has been renamed to Power Tools and clarified the cursed description. Then we've got some fishing stuff if people are interested in this. Expecting a fish now shows how many of it you have caught. Dev note, this stat is unfortunately not retroactive and will only count fish from this patch forward. Menu help entries are now sorted alphabetically in all languages. Help menu entry for impairment added. Interesting. Okay, so what I think we might do is I might just scour through the comments, see what people are saying, and get a feel for the general consensus of some of the stuff. We're going to look maybe for like 3 positive things and 3 negative things to get an idea of what the community think about all this. Okay, so I'm not going to do the positive and negative. I'm just going to look at some of the stuff that people have to say, and this is actually some very, very good arguments to the changes that they're coming out with, specifically to do with heavy weapons. And here we've got someone from K. Luce who says, are there any new perks that work with the Tesla cannon? So the Tesla cannon is just like pop. It doesn't have big magazines or anything like that. So the new perk cards for heavy weapons aren't going to affect the Tesla cannon. So inherently, it is a bit of a nerf to certain weapons, including the Tesla cannon. The new heavy gun perks seem to overall just be for Gatling heavy weapons. Heck, I'm not even certain the LMG will get much benefit, but like the Tesla cannon, Cremator, Flamer, Fat Man, Missile Launcher, and the Hellstorm, how do they benefit from these changes? They would all need to run quad just to see benefits, and still probably fail in a lot of cases. This is really, yeah. This is true. A lot of these hard-hitting, single-shot weapons in the heavy category, one of the ones that he's missed here is the Plasma Caster as well, which is one of my all-time favorites, is going to be potentially nerfed from all this. And I wonder if this is just an oversight and they just didn't think about this. They were just like, heavy guns, dugga, you know, fucking Rambo and whatever, you know, big machine gun, pow, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And then they just completely ignored that, like, you know, I don't know. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but yeah, it's definitely something here to take note of. So here's a sort of negative point to all this. And I'm getting a lot of negative vibes reading through the comments. Here we've got, already not a fan of this, changing the heavy gunner perk cards to another stacking system that resets on reload is a straight up nerf to slow firing, tiny magazine heavy weapons like the Plasma Caster, the Cremator, the Cryolator, Harpoon Gun, Tesla Cannon, Missile Launcher, and the Hellstorm Missile Launcher. These changes seem to exclusively cater to weapons like the Minigun, Gatling Plasma, Gatling Laser, and Gauss Minigun. Does Bethesda think those are the only heavy weapons there are because of the card's pictures? Also, hilarious that the light machine gun is catching a 10% nerf in all of this by going down from 42 to 37 base damage. Now, this we've just spoken about, and it is I don't know what they're going to do, but I just don't feel like I understand what they're trying to do, but they've also got to maybe split the category into the way that they've done with melee weapons, how you've got power attack and like bleed or whatever like that, right? So I think that they should have slow firing heavy guns. I don't know what category you would call that, you know, and then fast firing daga weapons. Split them off into 2 categories and give them their own separate perk cards, because this is definitely catered to one side, which then completely excludes another side and makes them near redundant. And the current system right now actually keeps them all, like, I love using the Cryolator. The Cryolator is an extremely fun weapon for me. Who doesn't want to shoot snowballs at things? Like, that is fun. That is fun, and I'm going to be very sad if they notice that. The Plasma Caster, one of my all-time favorite weapons. It's just so fun and satisfying to use, hitting for that big damage. Also getting a bit of a nerf. And then my boy, the LMG, which is one of my all-time favorites. I use this whenever I'm taking out heavy weapons. This is like on my number 1, 2, or 3 keybinds, you know. That's like one of the top ones I pick because it's so fun and so satisfying to use. I don't understand why the LMG is getting nerfed. No one ever said that the LMG is busted or broken. No one ever said it needed changing, to be honest, nor did it need nerf. There's actually more to the LMG than just this damage nerf. We're going to be checking that out tomorrow. I'm not going to rant about it now. We're going to rant about it tomorrow, but this is really sad to see, and they better. I don't even understand what is going through Bethesda's mind right now with that one. Okay, I'm going to read another comment here. A lot of them are just not very happy. It's actually hard to find anyone saying anything positive from this. So we'll just keep with this. And I personally am following a lot with what people have to say. But this guy actually puts in a suggestion. And I'm not saying this is the suggestion, but it's good to see certain suggestions come out here besides just my 2 cents. Here we have the funny / sad thing is, by the way, this is from Newt Muscate. The funny / sad thing is that lock and load, which allows you to keep half of your stacks, probably won't allow LMG to build stacks either. If you shoot 50 rounds and get a stack, and then shoot the remaining 25 and reload, you would have a 0.5 stack. If it rounds up, this means you keep your 1 stack. If not, you are never getting more than 1 stack. But in the case of it rounding up, you shoot another 50 rounds and get your 2nd stack. Then you shoot the remaining 25 rounds, because it's 75 in the mag, and reload. Now you lose half of your 2nd stack, so back to 1. It would basically be a never-ending loop of jumping between 1 and 2 stacks. Me personally thinks that the shoot 50 rounds to get 1 stack requirement is too steep. Reduce it to like maybe 10 rounds, and then reduce the damage per stack and increase the default maximum amount of stacks, and Bethesda might be going somewhere. This is actually a good point. Now, obviously this is just bull marking, but I think I also agree shooting 50 rounds is specifically alienating a certain section of heavy weapons and only including another section of heavy weapons. It's very biased and very one-sided, which then puts the heavy weapons that like the Cremator, like the LMG, and all those other ones into this weird limbo state where they don't really have anything that really benefits them. It's not really well thought out, if you ask me, but I guess this is why they talk about it, and hopefully listen to the community, because so far it's not looking like anything decent coming from the community in terms of their like towards it, and people are just not happy, straight up. We're going to read one more suggestion here, which I love to see people actually put in some recommendations and suggestions. I want to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. If you have some suggestions, you can just say it sucks, because it does suck in my opinion, but if you got a suggestion, I would love to hear it, because there are some good things. Let's try and get the community talking and get Bethesda to hopefully listen and put things correct, tweak things in the right direction, because I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to make weapons feel more fun to use, especially outside of VATS, lowering cone and everything like that. But I think some things aren't really well thought out, and hopefully us as a community, for our passion for Fallout 76, we can get them steered in the right direction. So this is from Brute Slayer, and he says here, I feel like Bulletstorm should be based on a percentage of the weapons base magazine without any mods, including quad. For example, if the percentage was 15%, the 50 cal would get 37, the minigun would get 75, and the plasma caster would get 3, as well as the Cremator at 14. I'm not going to read the rest of it because it's kind of whatever, but I actually think this is actually a good suggestion. If it's a percent based, that would actually incorporate a little bit more within the pool of weapons that benefit from these rather game-changing cards for heavy weapons. But as I said, we don't know what the best solution is, and hopefully Bethesda can really sit down, get around the round table, everybody. Let's have a conversation and sort this out. And that's going to conclude this video. I hope you guys found it informative, and I hope it helped you guys out. I personally not in agreement with a lot of these changes. I feel like it's biased, one-sided, and not very well thought out, and I feel like we need to be vocal, and we're not hostile, but vocal with suggestions and informative information to try and push the devs in the right direction for what we as a community are actually looking for, and not just some random garbage, in my opinion. But with that all out the way, cheers all for joining me, thanks all for watching, and I'm gonna catch you all on the next one.